One of my favorite things is to eat dinner with a view. So I think you can see why this is one of my favorite rooms in this house. When we were designing this home, we really wanted to make sure that while we enjoyed the view, the furniture that we selected for the room didn't compete. So the fun thing is we chose something really neutral, and that gives me a really easy canvas to recreate all throughout the seasons. So for the springtime, I'm always on the lookout. How am I going to do the room next? And I happened to stumble across this really pretty tablecloth. It has a khaki background to it, but it has these beautiful, almost sort of reminiscent of cherry blossoms, but instead of pinks and whites, it's actually white in this beautiful shade of a robin's egg blue. And that's really where my imagination started to spin. I wanted to find elements that I could use to tie that blue into the table, but still remain true to this feeling of nature, not just in the tablescape, but also with the surroundings too. So here's how I'm putting this all together. Using this basic tablecloth as my base, I decided to build from that with some touches of white. This is just a fringed placemat that I found. And then I'm going to top that with these charger plates that I've used before, but I have to say, I just love them. They're galvanized metal that gives me that metallic look, but it's not super shiny. So to me, it's a little elevated because it's a charger, and I don't know about you, but whenever I sit at a table with a charger, it just feels a little fancier. But it's not so fancy that I couldn't sit down and have a cheeseburger at the plate that I'm sitting at. So I love this because it's that feeling of high and low. So I'm going to use that as my base layer on top of the placemat. And then on top of that, I'm just going to do a classic clean white plate. I've got a lot of textures going on here, so I'm keeping the plate simple. I'm going to kick it up a little bit with my napkins. I'm using a wonderful sort of raffia napkin ring, but then I'm using this little touch of a tonal plaid. It ties back to the khaki in our placemat. And then I finish it off with a crystal glass. So really simple, really pretty layers, but let's talk about layering in the center of the table, because that's where I was really able to pull out those gorgeous shades of robin's egg blue. I started with my base, what I'm building from, these really cool slices of wood. I love using that look. I think, again, it's very rustic, but there's so much you can do with it. So I used 2 of those. I tied in the color of the robin's egg blue with my lantern and the candlesticks that I found, but I didn't want it to all be that blue color. So one of the candlesticks is just done in wood that ties together all of these natural tones that we're using on the table. I added some greenery, but I made sure the greenery wasn't too yellow of a green. It's more of a blue green to keep with that tonal feel. And I always love a little bit of sparkle. I think it works back to the sparkly glasses. So I added a couple of mercury glass votives just so that in the evening time when we're enjoying this room, it can really glow. So whether you are sitting down for a wonderful breakfast with friends or you're enjoying sunset by the bay, just adding those little touches of nature into this tablescape makes it a wonderful room where you want to spend your time. I hope that that gives you some great ideas on how maybe you can recreate a tablescape in your home.